Coming up on the show, as a trio of fading stars are linked, we ask, is this where Manchester United are these days? The club shoot themselves in the foot with a bizarre announcement, wherefore art thou, Mbeumo? There's a slim list in Cropper's transfer corner, and which Manchester United substitute is most likely to swear in an interview next season. This is Fergie's Gum, a Manchester United podcast. Hello and welcome to Fergie's Gum. My name is Nathan and I am joined by Mr. Paul Cropper. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Hola. How are we?
Back from your holidays, how was it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. And then back to grey skies in Manchester. Grim. But it's always nice to come home, isn't it?
It is always nice to come home.
To see your face as well.
Oh, well, I mean, you could see me from Bulgaria, mate, by the power of the internet, but I do appreciate it. Hopefully I bring a ray of sunshine to your dull day in Manchester. Which
hey, 29 degrees on Sunday, mate. Oof.
What, here?
Good for us in
Manchester?
Yeah, big time.
Rough.
Rough,
mate. That is bad. I know where I'd rather be when it's over a certain temperature, and that is definitely in Dubai. Because at least we're equipped for it. You know?
Aircon everywhere, aren't you? Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, we didn't come on to talk about aircon, Bulgaria, Dubai. Came on to talk about Manchester United, which it's been a weird week. I don't know if it's felt the same to you, but it feels like a strange week because nothing's actually happened at Manchester United, yet it feels like there's loads of stories coming out of the club, like more than usual. Like, pre-season started on Monday. We're recording on Wednesday. Pre-season started on Monday. The club announced that Garnacho, Sancho, Rashford and Malacia and Anthony are all asked to leave, which was later disputed by a few of the players' representatives. Brian Mbeumo is still no close to a move, which is ridiculous. And we're being offered players of questionable quality from agents. Is this? And I think this is probably the best place to start because this one, I think we saw it last night. I think it came in overnight. And I've been thinking about it, like, I thought about it all evening, thought about it all morning while I was on the walk with the dog. It's like, is this type of player where we are now? Is this, I'll name the players that we were offered, allegedly.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Callum Wilson, and Jamie Vardy. Now,
yeah, I know you can see the screen there, Nathan, but I've got my head in my hands.
I know, exactly. And I was kind of thinking, you know, any of those players a few seasons ago, you'd have been like, yeah, quite fancy it. But Calvert-Lewin's contract ran out. Yeah, I agree. So you've got Calvert-Lewin, who's just left Everton as a free agent. Callum Wilson, exactly the same. Jamie Vardy, exactly the same. Agents must be looking at Manchester United now and going, well, they haven't really got much going on up front. There's been no movement on Ollie Watkins since that was announced a couple of weeks ago. Like, maybe just see if we can get him a big pay packet at Manchester United. Is this where we are now, mate? Is this where you think we are?
It feels like that's where we are, doesn't it? And I know we need a striker. Do we need one that bad? Like I said 4 years ago, these lads, what would Jamie Vardy have been then? 31?
Something
30?
like that, yeah.
Calvert-Lewin was probably had his best season then, 4 years ago. And Callum Wilson would have probably got you 15, 20 goals. But 4 years ago, why are we even linked with these? It must be the agents. I can't see the club looking at any of that. I think Ahmad said it yesterday. You would be hoping that they would be your second or third choice strikers, but as your primary striker, they can't be the names that we're linked with. It could be a sign of where we're at, mate. It really could be. And it probably comes to one of my points later on. Is there actually zero money if we're looking around and being linked with these free transfers? Is there nothing? And is that why we're being linked with these players? Because there's nothing in the pot whatsoever.
Because that's the other thing as well. Because it's lots of players that are either the free agents hoping to get a massive pay packet out of Manchester United, which isn't outside of the realms of possibility with this club, and it's like players that have got like a really low release fee, which Wilfred Ndidi was another name that was offered, who just got relegated with Leicester City. And he was probably good, as you said, about 4 years ago. And now we seem to be this. I mean, we haven't signed them. Let's give Manchester United a tiny bit of credit. We haven't signed any of these players, but to just be linked with them, thinking about this like maybe 5-6 years ago, you just wouldn't even consider this type of thing. But I mean, we've fallen so hard. What's going on? What is going on, mate?
Well, I suppose that's what happens, mate, when you finish 15th in the league, isn't it? Is that is where you're at. Is if you finish in the European places, you're looking at better players, aren't you? But when you look at Arsenal now, it looks like Gyökeres is going there. Why are we not linked with Setsko? He probably just doesn't want to go. So if you are scraping around even, for a striker, because there's not many, yeah, that feels like that's where we're at. Is that what we're just going to have to accept it? But will United fans accept that? Any of them three? Will they just, that'll do?
Well, I mean,
it's not good enough,
100% of this podcast is Manchester United fans, me and you, and we both said no. So I can't see anyone else going, yeah, I fancy it. I fancy Callum Wilson.
The only one I can kind of go, yeah, he's Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
It's the only one I go, maybe he's
as a
another
backup
option to come off. Well, come on off the bench 15 minutes. We've only got a game a week. Yeah, maybe he's an option to go, but you need another one, don't you? As your main number 9 to come in and start. You need one main guy who comes it. Look at Chelsea. I've got here. They bought 2 strikers, haven't they? Bought Delap and João Pedro. They put them straight in the team. No, you're straight in there. You're playing and that's what we need. We can't be having someone who he's not fit this week, and then he'll play 1 in 3 games. We can't afford that. We need someone who starts every single game as a number 9, and he knows he's going to play every game. And neither of them 3 will do it, will they? Not well. They've had great careers. Well, they've had good careers, haven't they? And like you said, 4 or 5 years ago, you'd be thinking, yeah, they'll do us, but no, not good enough.
Jamie Vardy's clearly had the best career out of all 3 of those because he's won the Premier League. Regardless, and I still think he could probably do a job for us off the bench, like as one of those impact players, which, I don't even want to consider that. It just seems like we're so far off it that we're even talking about Jamie Vardy playing for Manchester United. It just seems like an insane thing.
Embarrassing, Nathan, isn't it? Those 3 transfers are embarrassing.
It is. But you look at Chelsea, and it's hard not to look at them. I mean, it may all blow up in their face. It may see Maresca getting sacked by Christmas. I still don't think he's the guy for them. I think he'll be ousted and they'll get a top manager in probably by next season. I know that might be a bit unfair to say, but I can kind of see they haven't spent all of that money to finish in 4th. They've spent that money to win the Champions League, to win pretty much every competition they've got. Then they're not really doing that many outgoings at Chelsea. And you look at the players that they're bringing in. João Pedro, would he improve Manchester United? Yes. Liam Delap, we had a chance to get him, failed to get into Europe, and I think he probably decided he was going to go there. His mate Cole Palmer's there as well, so it's an easy sell. Then they go for that.
On the Delap one.
Just what? One second.
Yeah, go on,
one sec. And then Jamie Gittins as well, which like those. I mean, those 3, Delap, Gittins, and bloody hell, Cole Palmer, all ex-City players. They all played at Man City, and they're all teaming up again elsewhere because of obviously Enzo Maresca's probably got that pull because he was at City all that time ago. But we don't seem to be able to compete with stuff like that anymore. We can't even bring in a practical striker in João Pedro. But you wanted to go back to Liam Delap. Sorry, go on. What did you want to say about Delap?
No, talk about Delap and Pedro, to be honest with you. Like you said, it would improve our team. But with the Delap one, it feels like he was our main target. After Cunha got done, it looked like Delap was the one after that. When that doesn't happen, where's your backup plan? It feels like it was either Delap or it was, what do we do now? So surely United should have. Well, they must have done. They must have come up with a plan. If we get into Europe, this is what we're going to do. If we don't get in, this is what we're going to do. And they must have got this go ahead from Delap to say, if you get in Europe, we'll come. Right. Well, we haven't done. So what do you do now? Just scrap around and just see what else is available. There must have been a plan there. All right, well, there's a chance he'll go to Chelsea if we don't get in Europe. Right, this is what we're going to do. Because even the Mbeumo one, that we weren't linked with him at all. Before, like back end of last season, the Cunha one we were, the Delap one we were, maybe the Gyökeres one was kind of there as well. But it feels like there was no backup plan. How can a club run professionally have no second plan? Not even a B plan, a C and a D, and I can't get my head around. If you don't get Delap, then you all of a sudden don't know what you're going to do for the next season. It should be done. Should have been done weeks ago. And they didn't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They can't make their mind up what strikers to go for. And now we're linked with 3 lads, past the best, who won't be able to give you an hour a game.
That is true. It is true. It is true. They've had a checkered career up until this point in terms of injuries and being in and out of the team. The only one that's consistent is Jamie Vardy, but he's knocking on 40. We can't rely on him to be banging him in, week out. Even though he is built like a butcher's dog, do you know what I mean? He'd be able to run all day, and he would be a pest. But I'm trying not to convince myself that he's the answer. But do you know what I mean? Like Ineos are probably looking at it, scratching their chins, going, "Oh, you know what? It might be an interesting one that." But let's go back. Let's go to the actual foundation of this, right? As I said at the top of the show, pre-season has started. It started a few days ago. We've got we've seen pictures from the training camp. I mean, a few of the players are still yet to come back. They've got extended breaks, but we've got Matheus Cunha and Diego Leon. They're the 2 representatives of the 2 new players that we've got at the club since May, whatever the date was, 18th or something. It's like, I think we're 50 days away from when Amarin made that speech saying that the good times are coming. And you look at that squad, and I saw people posting about, like, if we started the league today, if we were playing Arsenal today, this would be our strongest lineup. And it's like, it's the same old faces. It's Højlund up front. It's Cunha and Ahmad behind him. It's Casemiro and Bruno in midfield. It's, right wing back, it's Dalot. Left wing back, Dorgu. Maguire, De Ligt, Yoro, possibly 3 centre-backs and Onana in there.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know what? What this says to me is that Wilcox and Barada and all of the people that are connected with making those decisions, and I say this quite often, but I'm going to use it again. They've been caught with their pants down. They're being embarrassed by the speed of which these clubs are picking up players, specifically Chelsea, with the plans that they've had. Arsenal had Zubimendi in mind for like 6-7 months. Like, we was never going to get him. We were never going to be able to shop at the top table. But in terms of having a contingency plan, as you said before, there is no transparency on this. Where is it? Who is the next player that's supposed to be coming in after Liam Delap, as you say? You move down the list. But the other issue that I think we've got, and I'm sorry, I'm monologuing here, but the other issue that we've got right now is that we can't shift these lads on. Those 5 players that I announced before, what do you think you're going to get for them, having said that they've all asked to leave the club? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's you're not going to get an out for him because these clubs we've said it before, these clubs around Europe aren't daft enough to pay the wages. We've got a bit on the outgoings and crop his transfer corner. But now I've not seen the official thing, but have they been banished from training? Have they been told you're not welcome back? Is that because I've seen all the other lads coming back from training and they're coming back into Carrington. I've not seen anything there. Have they just been told you're not welcome? Is that right?
So I assume that's what it is, but the diplomatic way that Manchester United have put it out there is that they've been given an extra week to find themselves another club. So, right. I mean, that's the softly way of doing it. I kind of feel a bit bad for Malacia, because his injury, which Manchester United, there's a great piece, I think it's on The Athletic, there's a great piece about his injury and recovery and his rehab that was completely botched by Manchester United, and now through no fault of his own, his career is looking like it's really shaky. He was barely starting for PSV. I know he's got an Eredivisie title now, but he was barely starting for them. I think he started 4 games in 2025 for them. 4.
Right.
So it's, when they didn't take up the option to sign him, and I think it was something like 15 million euros or something, fairly easy. But
Feels a weird one, that, Nathan. If that's our issue, if we've not helped this lad out where he's been injured, what's the harm in letting him train with them? The other ones, no. Yeah, no. If you're going to be a bad ex, no, you're not welcome. But Martial one, we don't know the full story there, do we? But what's the harm in letting him train with us, get fit, and then find a club? I don't. Yeah.
But yeah, just got like, again, there's a bigger picture here. There's a bigger thing here at play where Manchester United just aren't prepared for all eventualities. It's like they had their plan A. We're going to make Europe. We're going to be able to go for Gyökeres. We're going to be able to get as maybe another striker. We're going to be able to get Liam Delap. We'll be able to move Højlund on. Aston Villa will probably activate their fee for Rashford. They'll probably activate it and pay for him. Anthony Betis will find the money from somewhere. They've got all these players that they want to sell. They'll find the money from somewhere. And Garnacho, again, Chelsea inquired about him in January. Surely they'll sign him. Sancho, he's there. They'll give us the money, no problem. 25 mil, and all these lads will be off our books. But they're not. They're there.
He's incompetence, Nathan.
And it is. And next Monday, they'll be expected to be back in training because they're employed by Manchester United. Manchester United can't just say, you're not allowed to train with us anymore. They were contracted players at Manchester United.
Well, they could probably say you're not welcome, sticking with kids, can't they? But you'll still be paying the wages, won't you? Simple as that. You'll still be paying their wages. But I think we're probably resigned, and I said this last week, we're resigned to paying the wages anyway. I've heard that it says that Rashford's willing to take a pay cut. I bet you are, pal. Well, just to make his move go. But it's a position we're in now as a club where you're stuck. If they don't go, and there's no definites that they're going to go, is there? No. If they don't go and we can't bring anyone in, we're starting with that team that you mentioned, the only change being Cunha. I was just trying to find out where Wolves finished last year, because what I was doing. Because
I think there was a couple of places above us, weren't there?
His starting 11 isn't far off where United's starting 11 are, if you compare the two. He's not going to take us to European football on his own, is he? That one player, he's not going to jump us, 10 spots? It's not going to happen.
The big thing about that, and it's becoming increasingly more likely, that the Cunha deal was just a PR exercise. They wanted to get that one done so that they could sell their season tickets again, so that they could get people signed up to the memberships again, get people buying merchandise again, looking at the kits. Reasons to be happy off the back of Amorim saying that the good times are coming, completely moving in that same vibe to try and create this, things are getting better. Here's the green shoots of change. But it hasn't been followed up with anything. We've signed, Diego Leon was signed in January. So we'd already done that deal. It's not like it was a brand new thing. So we knew that was coming in. So if you take that away, the only summer signings that we've actually made is Matthias Cunha in 50 days. 50 days they've had. And I know it's complex. I know there's been a mess that's been left by previous regimes, like Ed Woodward, Richard Arnold, all these people that have.
Don't make excuses for him, Nathan.
I'm not doing. I'm just saying there is a mess that was created by previous regime which needs cleaning up. But they knew that coming in. They knew this coming in. They backed themselves to be able to sort it out. Because why would you take that job if you're not going to be backing yourself to sort it? And things may change, and it might be right. Okay, end of this transfer. End of next week we'll have signed 5 players, 6 players. Right now, where I'm sitting, not at all. You're starting against Arsenal with that squad.
with that team. Like I say, it makes me worry that they don't know what they're doing. This is where I'm thinking now. Because I was thinking last night, the two good things that they've done since they've come in Ineos, and I think they've done them, is the kids that they brought in. It seems like they've brought in this youth talent. Whether they brought that in to make a profit and make themselves some money, I'm still not sure. Or whether they're going to try and develop them into first team players. And the manager, maybe. Is there two good things? The backroom staff sorting out. I can't think of anything else that they've done that's been positive. You look at what Chelsea's on. I'm not going to say Chelsea's owners are brilliant, but at least they seem to know what they're doing. The João Pedro one, you never even heard he was linked.
Yeah.
Just, we'll have him. Bang, he's in straight away in the first. It seemed like it took a week. Right, he's linked, he's done, he's signed, he's in the team, and he scores on his debut. Why does our transfers have to be dragged out over 3 months? Why can't it be, right, nobody knows what's going to happen. We'll have him, put him in the team, and it's done, and you carry. There's always some sort of drama behind it with United. And it doesn't need to be, because the rest of nobody else, you don't hear Bayern Munich dragging out these transfers, do you? You don't hear these clubs that are run properly dragging out transfers. It makes me wonder, have you got any idea what you're doing in Ineos in this? Or are you just winging it? Are you worse than the last lot we had? Can we make our mind up? Oh, God, these lads are definitely better than what we've had for the past 10 years. I'm not convinced, because what they're doing now, the names that we're linked with that I've been looking at, the past 6 weeks has been horrendous. Nothing short of horrendous. Whether they're backing some of these lads to turn around and have a season of their lives, make the likes of Mason Mount or people like that, I've got no idea. Ineos, what are you doing?
Yeah. And I think that's got to be the big problem. We need a bit more transparency as fans to just see what's going on. But anyway, let's leave that bit there, because I'm sure we're going to carry on ragging on Ineos in the next section.
Coming off me baldy head. Look at that.
Exactly. It'd be coming out my ears if I wasn't wearing these headphones. But we'll move on to the other big talking point from this week, which is obviously Bryan Mbeumo. So let's have a little break here, and then when we come back, we'll talk Big B. Okay, so we've had 7 days. Well, it feels like a lifetime. It feels like 7 years. Bryan Mbeumo is still no closer to being a Manchester United player. Mr. Paul Cropper, tell me about
that. Yeah, same as last week. So reading here, they've rejected. What's that meme? It's been 9 long years.
Yeah,
you've seen that one. They've rejected 55 million, 62.5 million, and they want 65 million. Obviously, they can't be far away.
I'll tell you something that's not done us any favours. Anthony Elanga going to Newcastle for 55. Because if Brentford are looking at prices to compare, they've already done it with Cunha. They've already seen how much we've spent on him. And Mbeumo's arguably got more of an impact than at Brentford than Cunha had at Wolves. And then you look at this, and they're like, well, you paid that for him. You give us that for Bryan, and he can
our best player.
But Elanga, 55 mil, mate, 55 million quid.
Yeah, 55. So you're thinking at that, and if you thought Elanga 55 million, you go, maybe 10 million, 5 million over 45 million. You probably say it was a good price. Newcastle got him at a good price. So you'd say that, all right, yeah, Forest have done a good bit of business, but there's not a massive jump to Mbeumo there, is there? 10 million, and we're offering him 7.5 million each over. Give him the bloody money. Give him the money. How much do you want? And move on. I just don't. Yeah. I can't see. You literally said.
You literally said those same words last week, mate.
Exactly.
And that's how
and
bad
they've
it
still not
is.
done it. They've still not done it. That's the thing. It's. Are we just scrimping around and saving, or are we waiting for that? Have we not got the actual capital, the cash, to come from the Elanga deal? Because we get 8 million from that, don't we? We get a bit from a knock on.
Yeah.
There. I think it's 8 million we get. This penny pinching around does no good. The other thing, I'll come back to it again then. The Newcastle one, I know they were linked with him in January, weren't they? But there wasn't this big kerfuffle of, they've made an offer, it's rejected. They made another offer, it's rejected. No, there's 50, how much you want? We want 55 million. Oh, there's your 55 million. Cheers, we'll have you play. We'll get him straight in the team. Pre-season done. There's none of this messing about. There's none of it, you want 55 million? Well, we'll give you 38.5. Well, no, we want 55. Oh, we'll give you 41. No, we want 55, mate. And why do we have to? Why do we have to do that? Same again.
To be honest,
all these other clubs seem ran better.
To be honest, Newcastle did struggle to get Mark Gray over the line. Like they were
very true. Yeah,
they were trying the old. Well, we'll offer you this, and Palace were saying no. Well, this is how much he's worth. So they had to turn away from that. I get it. There's different levels of negotiation from different clubs, and there's different expertise. And some clubs are
different
better
valuations
at it
as well.
And some clubs are better at it than others. But Manchester United, for the past, I don't know, 13 years, like they don't seem to be able to do anything. They either overspend, or they they don't get the player that they want. That's the basics to it. But let's just hone in. Sorry, let's just hone in on the Mbeumo deal though, because this is something now that is going to be like it's hanging around their necks now. Ineos cannot be seen to back down from this, from a fan's point of view, but they also can't be seen to back down in the boardroom at that director's level of negotiations, where it's like, if we give in and give Brentford exactly what they want for Mbeumo after all this time, because whatever the fee will be, Brentford will come out and say, yeah, we got more than, or we got exactly what we valued him at, because it's a whole PR exercise. The next negotiations that Manchester United have to go into, they're going to get the same treatment. So they have to balance it. They have to. It's a fan pleasing thing on one side, and then we can't be seen to be dead ducks in the boardroom against other teams that we need their players from. So I get it. It's a difficult balance, but the one thing is they cannot not buy Bryan Mbeumo now.
Yeah, they've been backed into a corner, haven't they? They backed themselves into a corner. But this summer, this window, was not the time to start doing this. This was not the time to start saying, oh yeah, we need to save a few quid here and there. No, it was the time to go, right, we want 5 players, bang, 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 get them in. We want them 8 out, get it done. This season wasn't the time to go, oh, we're going to save 2.5 million on buying him. Brilliant, what a win that is. It's not. You get them in, and you get your pre-season done. And every manager's wanted this that's come into United. Yeah. Mourinho wanted it. I think he wanted Perisic, Willian. They didn't give him. So, and this is what's failed every single time. They've scraped around we said it last week, they scraped around the last 48 hours, and you bring in lads that you should have brought in 6 weeks ago. And the deadline should have been, when was pre-season training? 2 days ago? That should have been the deadline for when you buy your players. You should be doing it now. Because United is such a big machine, a big commercial machine, I can slightly understand it's different to other clubs. Slightly. But the way it's being run now, and the way it seems to have been, the transfer-wise, etc., I just find it pathetic. I don't see any excuse why you can't have your targets, and if one doesn't want to come, Gyökeres, etc., move on to the next one. They've had 18 months to sort this plan out. 18 months, and it's like, I can't get my head around how you can not have a plan, and if the plan changes, you've not got the next plan. I find it amazing, Nathan. I really do. I can't get my head around why they're not doing it.
I'm going to try and add one piece of positivity to this, right? And I'll see what you think about it. So, if we get Mbeumo, we got Cunha, we got a little bit more creativity behind the main striker. Would you think that Højlund could do better than he did last season with those two behind him? And do you think he should be given a chance to try and improve it if striker isn't one of our positions that we need to go for?
I think he'd definitely do. Anybody would do better with them two behind him. Definitely, because they are creative players who will score goals themselves. And it takes the pressure off him as well, doesn't it, Højlund? If he's not scoring goals and there's somebody else, there's 2 other lads that are doing it, takes the pressure off him, and he's not going into every game thinking, hang on, if I don't score here, we're going to lose. He's also not got Garnacho going onto his left foot, can't cross it, or cutting in, shooting, which you could see every single time Garnacho and Højlund played together. Højlund looked like It looked like he were going to get him in changing rooms because he wouldn't cross it.
Mm.
And a striker like Højlund, he wants to get the ball. He's not the best at holding it up, but he will work on it. He wants to get it off. He wants to get in the box. He wants the ball brought in first time, and he'll finish. That's his game. It's not waiting for him to cross, fake, dumb it, cut inside, shoot. As a striker, it must be infuriating that because Ahmad does a similar thing on the other side, but he does cross it more often. But going back to the question, I think any striker in Europe, if they had Cunha and Mbeumo behind, would be miles better off. Do you give him a chance? Maybe as a backup. He can't go in as our number 9 starting Højlund. I think his confidence is probably ruined. There are rumours, aren't there, that he's refused to move. He's saying no. I'm going to dig my heels in and try and kick on. Fair play to me if that's the mentality he's got. I can't fault him. But he needs help, doesn't he? He needs a starting number 9. Take the pressure off him. I think Scholes said it. Bring him in for a game. Take him out for a game. Bring him in. Bring him off the bench. Let him watch the game. Let him watch how a proper number 9 runs the channels, holds it up, brings these players into play. Because if he's not got that, there's him and Chido Obi and Xerxes as our starting.
Yeah. How many goals are they getting us next season? Those 3.
It just deflates
in
you.
The league,
it
just
deflates
in the Premier League.
Exactly. 20. 20, Nathan. Wow. Big shout.
Between them, mate.
Yeah. I'm still laughing at 20 between them. No, I don't think we get you 12
it's a disgrace.
Between them.
The one thing that, like, obviously we don't need to say much more on Mbeumo. I still think the deal will be done. I'm guessing you still think it's going to be done as well.
Yes,
but
I do. Yeah.
The interesting point that you brought up there was that there's clearly a knock-on effect. There's a domino effect that Manchester United are waiting for right now. Again, rightly or wrongly, whether they've orchestrated this themselves, Ineos are waiting for Rashford to leave, for Garnacho to leave, for Sancho to leave, for Malacia to leave, for Anthony to leave, before they can even start working on other things. We're getting a little bit of extra cash for the Alvaro deal as well, because he's going to Real Madrid. Like, we'll get a little bit of cash from that and the Abanga one. But then once that money's been spent on Mbeumo, which you can imagine that's what they're waiting for, then what? Then what are the targets going to be? Because this is the whole issue right now. And the big point of the whole thing is that if you can't move players on, you can't bring players in. It's as simple as that. You can't have those salaries still attached to the club and not bringing any money in because you're risking the PSR thing in January or later on in the year. So it's a difficult one.
What names are going to be linked with? We discussed it at the beginning of the podcast. That's what names were linked with if nobody goes. That's where we are shopping at a car boot sale. We're taking players that the other clubs don't want. Calvert-Lewin's not just said, I don't fancy a new contract. I think Darren Bent said yesterday, they've not offered you a new contract, pal. And now your agent's shopping you around to where you're going. There's a difference, isn't there? But Newcastle will be like, well, we don't want him anymore. Anybody else? His agent's now shopping. Who needs a striker? United need a striker. Well, let's have a look. Like you said, let's have a look at going there. Unfortunately, I think that's where we're going to end up.
I think you're right. Do you know what? As well, as I was thinking about that, we haven't had Danny Simpson on the show for a while on the radio show, but I think he's due in the next few days, or the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So I might have to ask him about the Jamie Vardy rumor, because he was, the last time we spoke to him, he was out on the lash with Vards.
The good mates apparently.
Yeah, very good mates. So I think the whole of that team that won the Premier League are still really close. They're doing is it this year or next year? I think it's next year. They're doing like a 10-year anniversary of when they won the league, so they're doing a big meet up on that. But yeah, it'd be interesting to try and find out.
Jamie Vardy will fancy himself coming to United and doing the job.
Of course he will.
He'd back himself. But like I said, I've no issue with any of them three as the second striker. No issue at all. You still need to go and get a main one. That's it. Simple.
Right, come on, just hit me with the hit me with the jingle, mate, and we'll move straight into it.
It's going more high pitch. More get used
It
to
is
it.
going. It is. You're getting comfortable with this jingle now, mate. But it is Cropper's transfer corner, where we look at the latest links and just seeing what's real and what's bogus. Please don't just be Jamie Vardy, Callum Wilson, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. What have you got for us, mate?
That's the first three that I put in a bubble there.
Oh,
but
no.
Yeah, there are more names linked with us this week. But like you say,
Go on.
you're not sure whether they're bogus. The Moise Keane, the Athletic are reporting 52 million clause to United. I heard this 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually. I think someone put it in the chat. I can't remember who it was. And it seems to be cropping up again as another striker. And he scored 19 goals in 32 games last year, his debut season. Yeah. Fiorentina. I was reading it was the Athletic who reported it. They've done an article about him, which is quite a good read, actually, about how he's a completely different player to what he was at Everton. And how Fiorentina, at Everton, he seemed to play more off the left, cutting in, that kind of play. And what they're saying, basically, he's matured as a striker. For Fiorentina, he'll look dangerous. And they just had him. Something like, was it me? 90% of the goals he scored were inside the box.
Yeah.
He's playing him completely different as a striker. Sometimes that happens with players and forwards especially, which we're hoping with Højlund. They mature and after it takes them a good 12 months. When they get to an age of 25, 26, they seem to learn the game more and they kick on and they score goals. The 52 million buyout, I don't see it happening. But he's just another name that we were linked with as a forward. Maybe he was fit the six down the line, but I not for me. From what I saw, from what I've seen of him at PSG, Juve didn't fancy him. Everton didn't look a world beater. But like you say, you don't know unless they mature. The likes of Diego Forlan matured, went to another team and kicked on and became worldies, didn't they? But yeah, 52 million buyout clause. I don't see it happening, but it's a name that was linked with us a few places.
I think with Keane, he's always going to have that Everton black spot on his CV. But even when you look at his career and what he's done, this is the first season where he's actually been prolific at Fiorentina. And I would argue that the Italian league is a very good league for players to kind of break their ceiling that maybe they would reach very quickly in the Premier League. Like, I think the pace of the pace of the game in Serie A is a lot slower. I think there's a lot more space. I think there's a lot more time to kind of, express yourself, which is why the likes of Scott McTominay, the likes of Romelu Lukaku, these players suddenly look like world beaters. I'm not saying that they're bad players. I'm just saying that there's a different type of character that can make it in the Premier League and that can make it in Serie A. And when you look at, like, Højlund was bought off a very similar style. He had a decent-ish season. I think he only scored 9 for Atalanta, and we picked him up because we were desperate to get another Haaland. So that was the reason why we picked him up. So Keane for me, not having it. No. He's not the answer. He's not the answer. Who else have you got?
Next one on the list, another striker, Luis Suarez, not the Luis Suarez. Almeria, Colombian international, scored 27 goals last season. Been linked with him. Said to be keen on a move, 25 million euros. I can't say I've seen too much of him. I have seen him a couple of times. Clips. I had a look at clips this morning. Striker that's been linked with us, 25 million euros. Is it just, like you say, Europe? Apparently a few clubs are looking at him around Europe. If you're coming from a club like Almeria, obviously not one of the big Spanish clubs, and you're an international and you scored 27 goals, there will be a lot of European clubs, bigger clubs looking at him. Whether it won't be the big lads, but maybe that's where we're shopping at the minute. And you are buying potential, you are buying an international. Another name linked with us. I'm not convinced with the name. I'm not convinced whether United would actually be looking at someone like that. But maybe it's a different route to go down, whether it's 25 million euro and you're buying someone that can come in and help, who has scored goals. He looks a physical player. That's what I can see. I can't say much more on it, but it's another name.
But this is like these types of players. They're always I every time I hear a player's name that I don't really know, I always think of like that YouTube, like a clip with the hastily photoshopped head of player on a Manchester United kit that says
Yeah.
"Welcome to Manchester," and then it's a show reel of all their best bits, never their bad bits. Let's think about that. It never shows them like fluffing their lines or anything. It's always just the best things that they do. So it's that YouTube highlight reel player.
But you can't always
the consistent.
buy the famous one.
I agree.
You can't always
I
do that.
I agree.
You have to sometimes, yeah.
I think the issue that we have is if you buy someone like even Keane, if you buy Moises Keane, if you buy this Luis Suarez lad, they have to be coming in as like a second striker to someone that's more established, that has actually played in the Premier League before. And I think any player that you kind of look at that hasn't played in the Premier League at all, or hasn't excelled in the Premier League in Moises Keane's case, I think it's a risk. It's a risk, and Manchester United cannot afford to gamble on potential and risk. It's just you need someone that's established, which is why Ollie Watkins is probably your first choice. He would be he would be the one that you would get in. Liam Delap obviously was there because of his experience, and that's why we wanted to get him. He was young, he fit the profile, wouldn't have been a massive salary. Obviously went to Chelsea, and we move on.
You can imagine those two names I brought up, Moise Keane and Luis Suarez. I keep referring to Bayern Munich, I think just because of the club. But because they've got Harry Kane there, if they brought in either of them two lads as a secondary, you'd probably go, a good bit of business, see how he gets on, 25 million euros. He can learn, he can come in, give him a bit of a break. Maybe he'll score a few goals. You never know, he might take off. It's only 25 million euro. Because you've got Harry Kane there as your main striker. We're looking at these lads coming in and taking off and being our main striker. It's not going to happen. Even if we are looking at these lads. But like I said, with there being no backup plan, it looks like they're looking at everyone again now. But who can we get? Well, we didn't get the lad. Who can we get in? Ridiculous.
And the agents will be looking at this as well, and they'll be doing mischief making by sending like these stories out to the press and saying like, my client's being scouted by Manchester United. He wants to go. Right? But, just drumming up a bit of business because they want to get paid at the end of the day. They want to get their 25% or whatever it is. So,
what they could probably do, these agents, is they can smell weakness, can't they?
Yeah.
If
desperation, desperation is what they can smell.
Yeah, that's exactly what they can. Like wolves circling around, they can smell it, and they know that there's just pound notes dropping off the back of this Manchester United car. Well, we can get involved in that. On that point, the next one, which is, I believe it's 100% a new contract, was Javi Guerra from Valencia. Sent a defensive midfielder. I think it was come out linked, or United linked with him. We're going to get a move. I'll be honest with you. I've not seen a lot of Spanish football. Actually, I used to love watching Spanish football. Not seen enough of him. I know he's a holding midfielder, tidy ball player. That's all I know about him. But then 24 hours later, the Valencia say no.
It was less than that, mate. It was about 45. It was about 45 minutes later. It was announced by a few top tier one. I hate that phrase. Tier one in the nose, like from Spain. Oh, if this guy, and I saw all these people reposting it. Oh, if this guy said it, it must be true. It must be true. And then I think Nathan Salt from Daily Mail just came out and said that like Manchester United have categorically denied that there's any movement on Javi Guerra. And it's it's not happening.
Yeah, because I guess Valencia came out and said he signed a new contract. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I think Manchester United, they're in a bad position because if there are stories that are being fed to the press saying that they're now looking at this target, then Brentford are looking at, or even Brian Mbeumo himself is looking at this and going like, hang on, what's going on? Like, you're thinking about buying that guy. Like, let's get this one done because I don't want to go back to Brentford for pre-season. I want to join Manchester United as I've been promised.
Yes,
that's what you told me. I'm waiting it out. Like, I'm ready to go, but you need to sort it out. Have you got any other transfers in?
I have got a couple. Just why don't the club come out? Is it a thing done where they just go, no, we don't want him? well, we're not interested. Would that not be a better way of communicating with the fans? Just saying,
I
does
guess
that not suit business?
I
Or
think as soon as you start doing that, as soon as you start responding to rumours, then you're constantly doing it. It's the politicians' way, mate. You never comment on the things that aren't that haven't been proven or they don't have evidence of it. So, like as soon as you start answering one, you got to be out there every day denying this one.
I get that.
I'd be confident in saying that the last 50 days since Amarim's speech after the game at Aston Villa on that Old Trafford pitch, I would probably hazard a guess and say that we have been linked to 200 plus players, different players.
That's very true. It's a good point
since then in that 50 days. So yeah, I don't come out and respond to it because it's more trouble than it's worth. Who else have you got on there? Because I've got an in that was sorry to cut you out there. I've got an in that was it kind of just popped up. And again, this could be another one that's like he just wants a new contract. But Ethan Nwaneri, is that how you pronounce it?
Arsenal.
That lad. He wants guarantees that he's going to play. He wants guarantees that he's going to play next season, and he's a very, very tidy player. Manchester United have obviously got this connection with taking a few of the youth products from Arsenal at the moment. You know, we've had Aiden Heaven, we've had Chido Obi. Nwaneri's slightly different because he's signed. I think he has a contract at Arsenal. I think his first professional contract. I think he has to have a contract at Arsenal. But he's not getting any reassurances that he's going to be playing next season. So he's kind of might be looking for another club. Is that the type of player that you think Manchester United should be going for?
It's another number 10, isn't it? Young. I think he's highly thought of at Arsenal, Nathan. It surprises me that I don't think their fans would be happy if they let him go.
Oh, absolutely not.
Because he's come through the youth academy. But if they're signing Eze, Gyökeres, it blocks him again a bit more. I think Martinelli's just said he's not going anywhere because he was linked with the Saudi league. It does block his pathway, I suppose, and that's where United, I suppose, have taken advantage to get in a few of these kids. It's not one I actually thought about because I didn't think there was a possibility. But he is another number 10, and he will improve. If is he better than Ahmad? Would he get in the team if we've got Brian Mbeumo, Cunha, Ahmad?
I mean, it's a good problem to have. If there was even any consideration from his part, yeah. If there was any consideration for him, like to even get to come to Manchester United, I'm sure they would offer reassurances that he would get a pathway to like playing every week or to the starting 11. So, if that did happen, then he would be a key player for Manchester United, or he would be billed as a key player for Manchester United because that's the only way that he would leave. So yeah, it's just one to keep your eye on. And we'll wrap up the transfer section. What have you got? You got a couple of outs there.
Just 3 outs, mate. They very, very quickly run through them if you want. Rashford willing to take a pay cut to move to Barca. We discussed that before.
That's obvious, yeah.
I think with Williams,
Nico Williams
just signed a new contract. Yeah, just signed a new deal. I think Luis Diaz looks on his way to Bayern. So I don't see Rashford seems to be backed himself into a Barca or nothing corner, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Sancho is doing the same. Apparently, he's trying to push this move to Juve. I would still be looking at the possibility of using him and Garnacho in a mate weight with Osimhen deal if he's looking at going to Serie A. Don't know why that's a problem. But Sancho, Juve seem interested. He's willing to take a pay cut. But Juve is still saying, well, it's not enough, apparently. What I was reading this morning. It won't be enough. They won't pay him 25% of his wage. And the last one, United put a 30 million price tag on Onana.
Yeah, I mean, I could put a 30 million price tag on myself. It doesn't mean that someone's going to pay for it.
No, it doesn't. I think our only hope with Onana is that Eric over in Germany fancies a new goalkeeper. I think that's our only hope with getting Onana.
I can't see it. He's going to be our starting number 1 next season, and the sooner you get to grips with that, the easier life will be for you. Just to rain on your parade, mate, with your suggestion before, Osimhen's going to Galatasaray. It's already sorted out.
Yeah, I was
So
reading
he's
that. 75 million over 5 years, apparently.
Yeah. So that's done. I don't think Manchester United could not afford his wages. I don't think they could afford the transfer fee either. And
I'll be honest with you, it never seemed like we were interested, did it? It never seemed like we were in that race there, to be honest. Even though Rio Ferdinand was banging the drum, it never seemed like one we were bothered about.
I think the issue was that he's just too expensive and he wasn't a priority. Like strikers are just not priorities for Manchester United right now. So that was the issue. But that was a good roundup of Cropper's Transfer Corner. I do look forward to next week talking about Brian and Mbeumo not signing again. So yeah, it'll be fun. Right. While we was off air, you was talking about something that you'd noticed. So we'll round up a little bit of the old Manchester United news or what we've seen. What was it that you was going to tell me about?
It was the Amazon deal that apparently has been rejected by the club. Worth quite
not
a bit.
By the club. Not by the club.
Well, Ruben, by the gaffer, wasn't it, apparently? Rejected it. I only come across it listening to Simon Jordan saying it was the right thing to do. Don't normally agree with him on things that he says, but it's the right thing to do. Can you imagine the mess that'd show in this club? That you don't want that area. You do not want that area.
This is the ultimate. You're driving down the road. There's a terrible road accident on the other side, and you are slowing down to just have a quick peek over, a little bit of rubbernecking, seeing what's going on, stopping the traffic behind you because you want your turn to have a look at the car crash. And that's exactly what it would be like with this. I'd watch it. 100% I'd watch it. And everyone would. And it'd probably be... Exactly. It would be insane. Everyone would watch it. It would be one of the highest grossing TV programs ever put out by Amazon. No doubt about it at all. But Amorim is absolutely right. But it wouldn't be doing any favours, would it? Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. And I think Amorim's right to kibosh that because I think it just would have been another distraction. Can you imagine those players playing up to the camera? Some of those lads, like just your Rashfords, your Garnachos, Sancho. Do you know what I mean? What they would have done had they have been given any screen time, it would have just been awful. But another thing that's going to give players screen time this season is, I don't know if you've seen it, but substitutions coming off the pitch now, they're going to be interviewed at the side of the pitch over broadcasts. Yeah. So when they come off, I think there's a stipulation which is going to ruin some of the rawer moments, but there's a stipulation in each of the players' contracts or the contracts with the clubs. When they come off, they get a moment to cool down before they then get a mic thrust into their face and being asked like what was going wrong and what do you think you should have been doing out there, or are you happy to have come off? Yeah. And
absolutely
and I think
ridiculous.
I think even managers at halftime as well. There's another one. There's more footage. There's more behind the scenes, like engagement, touching the teams, the players, everything this season than there's ever been before the upcoming season, because they've even got training sessions. Like each club is obliged to do, I think it's something like one training session a week or two training sessions a week. Like different clubs that they have to give it to like broadcast rights. So now they get this behind the scenes. So you get to hear
I like training videos. Well, I watched a few of Leverkusen's. I like watching training videos. I'm just a bit sad like that, but I watched a few of Xabi Alonso's training, and a lot of these clubs actually put them on YouTube, so you can watch the full training session, which someone sad like me actually enjoys. So it'd be nice to see that. I know they put clips on, don't they? On MUTV and stuff like that. They put clips. That's good to see. Interviewing people that have just been dragged off a pitch, though, that stinks of you know, like a UFC fighter when he's just been knocked out and Joe Rogan goes in and goes, how are you doing, pal? And he don't know what's going on. It stinks of that. That's absolutely outrageous.
Still in the dressing room.
Yeah. What player who's just been dragged off a pitch is going to want to be taught to anybody? There's going to be some fines being thrown in there.
Wait, though. That's what I wanted to ask you, though. On the back of that, like, who would be like, which player at his rawest out of that Manchester United team would you love to see interviewed at the side of the pitch? Like, bear in mind, Martinez would be a good one, but I want a looser cannon than Martinez. I think a Bruno. You know, when he's really angry,
when he's gone, when his head's gone,
when his head's properly gone, I think he would be amazing. He would be amazing. But I think with this substitution thing, interviewing the substitutions, and this is, this is modern day football, and I'm 43 years old. You know what I mean? It's not for me anymore. But I can see the value in doing these substitution interviews and creating stars out of them. Out of these players that are coming off the pitch, not just Manchester United, but other teams, because you'll get someone that will have a bit of personality and a bit of character about them, and you'll be waiting. People will be tuning in to like a Newcastle game to wait for Anthony Gordon to come off the pitch because he either gives it, he's always going to swear, or he's going to say something. He's going to be a bit of a clown, just a bit of a that type of clip that you'll get on like Instagram and TikTok.
Do you mean like they're looking for what's that Aussie tennis player, Nick Kyrgios, is he called?
Kyrgios, yeah.
Yeah, do you mean a bit like that? Where they're trying to find something like that who's a bit more volatile and outspoken? I don't think
they're not trying to find it. They're not trying to find it, but that's what they're going to end up with. That's what I'm saying. Like they'll be interviewing these guys, and then there'll be some that will just be like, "Yeah, I didn't play my best." I just felt a twinge in the back of my hamstring, so that's why I came off. And then there'll be lunatics that will be coming off that will be absolutely furious that the 18-year-old trainee is now lining up at the number 9 spot where he used to be. It'll probably be the older players, that are getting furious at the end of their careers. But I thought
Luke Shaw won't be fuming, will he? He gets to sit down. He'd be happy.
Exactly. But I just think it'll be a good platform for these players to try and create something out of it.
Yeah,
but
interesting. Not something I knew that. But going back to the Amazon deal, well done, Ruben. We don't want this mess being shown all splattered all over our tellies. We all know how bad it is. Please sort it out before you bring in that kind of thing.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So on that bombshell, we shall end the podcast there. Thanks again for joining me, Mr. Paul Cropper.
Very welcome.
To use your full name. I do believe Ahmad, he hasn't had his head turned by this real estate stuff. He's not doing other real estate podcasts. He is going to be back on this podcast, on Fergie's Gum eventually.
Go on, Ahmad.
But just not yet. We might have to move the date to try and get him back in, but let's do that soon. Anyway, thanks for listening. Do subscribe to our newsletter, Fergie's Gum, on Substack, and our social media channels, which is Fergie's Gum Pod. And we will speak to you again next week when Brian Mbeumo signs.